Hello and many thanks for staying with us on Africa Independent Television, AIT. We are delighted to have you join us on this edition of the program People, Politics and Power. A few weeks ago, precisely on August 22nd, 2020, the warring groups in Atiap Chiefdom in southern Kaduna decided to bury the hatchet through a homegrown peace deal and end the bloodletting that has been the unfortunate way of life in that part of the country for some time now. So far, that peace deal has held out. But Atiab is just one of the many communities that populate the southern part of Kaduna State, a region that has been in a bloody turmoil for as long as many can remember. Almost every effort, including the setting up of military, police, and other security bases in the area, appear not to have yielded the desired result of bringing peace to the people. The Southern Kaduna crisis is one of the many festering sores of the fractured Nigerian state today. And then in comes the Nigerian Christian Pilgrims Commission, NCPC. Although not originally one of its core mandates, the Commission has decided to wade into the conflict with a view to helping develop a roadmap for lasting peace in the area. The NCPC facilitated a two-day peace summit, which ended on Thursday in Kamfachan. The Executive Secretary of the Commission, Reverend Yakubu Pam, who is the moving force behind the new initiative, said the NCPC provided a platform for the warring parties to dialogue and take ownership of the peace process, ostensibly because most of the previous efforts have been from outside the area. As with all other previous efforts, this week's summit got the endorsement of the Kaduna State government, which also promised to support any agreements reached. However, there appears to be a major missing link, as with such other previous peace efforts. Two critical groups that are central to the crisis and to the ultimate resolution were absent from the summit. They are the Southern Kaduna People's Union, SOKAPU, and the Kaduna Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN. At the heart of the lingering Southern Kaduna crisis is the issue of indigene-settler dichotomy, which has since degenerated into an economic and religious crisis. There is also a school of thought that believes that some persons and groups are exploiting the crisis to advance their selfish strategic political agenda and interest. The question then asked is, how far can the NCPC initiative go in the absence of trust and confidence by the contending parties? Will the NCPC succeed where others have failed? What are the elements of peace building that the Commission is bringing to bear in this instance? Why the SOKAPU and the Kaduna CAN not persuaded to buy into this initiative? And why is the Kaduna State government not at the driver's seat of such an effort? Well, our guest on the program today is the man at the center of the latest effort, the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Christian Pilgrims Commission, Reverend Yakubu Pam. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay, as is usual, we take a short break, and when we return, we give you some news update, and we will then go into our discussion.
Did you know that AIT's social media handles have all changed? If you are one of the millions of our followers on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, this is introducing to you AIT's new official and rebranded social media handles. Like or follow us now on our Facebook page, Official AIT Live. If you're on Twitter, switch to our new handle at Official AIT Live and activate the notification button to get breaking news and updates on the go. For exclusive short videos and photo news, follow our Instagram account at Official AIT Live. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Official AIT Live, and enjoy live streaming of news and your favorite programs, where you can also watch our broadcast materials at your own convenience. Note that Official AIT Live is the only authentic social media profile name with all the handles on our website ait.live, with a notification prompt to accept and receive breaking news and updates on the go. Log on to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube platforms on your smartphone, tablet device, laptop, and desktop to follow us now. AIT.live.
All right, let's give you some news updates now. Thursday's night fire that destroyed over 5,100 card readers at the INEC headquarters in Akure, Ondo State, will not affect the conduct of the October 10, 2020 governorship election in the state. The resident electoral commissioner, Rufus Akeju, gave the assurance at the commission's office in Akure. Akeju said arrangements are underway to replace the damaged card reader.
Further brief as event unfold. Distinguished journalists, let me use this medium to allay the fear of the electorate, the political parties, and our stakeholders that the good people of Ondo State that the incident, the fire incident, will not affect the conduct of the coming elections. Let me repeat that.
With the meeting between the federal government and the joint health sector unions ended in the early hours of Friday, with agreements reached on some issues, while others are still being resolved. The meeting agreed to reconvene on October 15th, 2020, to assess the level of implementation reached in the Memorandum of Understanding entered into. The meeting also resolved that UESU meets with its members on or before Saturday, September 12, 2020, to consider suspending the 7 days warning strike already planned to begin midnight on Saturday, September 13th. Nigeria Meteorological Services Agency has again raised the alarm that the steady rise of the water level of River Niger from 6.60 meters to 7.02 meters is an indication that more communities and farmlands in Kebbi, Niger, and Kwara states will continue to experience flooding. The Director General of the agency, Clement Nze, who raised the alarm, says this explains the loss of rice farms in Kebbi State, which may invariably threaten food security in the country. Nze also says Nigeria is being severely hit because it's at the receiving end of the Niger Basin, which is bordered by 9 countries.
Nigeria might be facing food scarcity when the agricultural lands have been overwhelmed, washed away. Each type of crop you plant, whether it is millet, it is rice, it is anything, they have certain amount of water they require for optimum production. But now when water comes and overruns them, stagnating for about a week, those crops oftentimes they will die off completely. Over 100 million people in Nigeria are inside Niger Basin. You also have Nigeria occupying 30% of this land mass. Now, whatever happens upstream in all these other countries, if there is pollution, Nigeria will be polluted.
Nigeria Meteorological Services Agency had in February this year predicted that over 200 communities will be overrun by either urban, coastal, or river flooding. Those are the news updates. Let's take another short break. When we return, we're going straight into our discussion. And Reverend Palm is very much here with us.
After 2 weeks star visits to the southern Kaduna area in search for peaceful reconciliation among the aggrieved people, the Nigerian Christian Pilgrim Commission (NCPC) proposed a 3-day peace summit to end the long-age crisis among Christians and Muslims.
Our guest speaker today.
At the opening of the summit in Kafanchan, Kaduna State, the Executive Secretary, NCPC, Yakubu Pam, said peace can be achieved through dialogue and reconciliation for a productive summit.
The killings should stop. These killings are the ones that provoke more actions to this violence to continue. So my appeal is the killings should stop. Secondly, let there be communication among them.
Religious leaders at the event called on warring parties to sheath their swords in ensuring that the effort made by the NCPC to bring lasting solutions to the deepening crisis affecting the southern Kaduna people not to go in vain.
India is one of the most divided, and yet we have very, very minimal violent conflicts, as it were, between communities. We will learn from them.
Not a favor you are doing to NCPC or you are doing to the Friends of Southern Kaduna or Interfaith Mediation Center. You are not doing us a favor by being here.
The Peace Summit is expected to engage those affected and other stakeholders from diverse groups to strengthen the weakening peace and unity among them. Southern Kaduna has been witnessing several attacks in recent times by unknown gunmen, which claim thousands of lives and destruction of properties worth millions.
All right, there you have it. That report actually sets the tone for our discussion. At least it tells the story of the summit that just ended. And that summit, it was the initiative of the Nigerian Christian Pilgrims Commission. And the man who is at the helm of affairs at the commission, the executive secretary of the NCPC, Reverend Yakubu Pam, is very much here with us. Thank you so much for joining us, Reverend.
Thank you, and thank you, viewers at home.
Great. Now, let's begin this way. Why did the NCPC decide to intervene and facilitate this summit?
Well, thank you, my brother. One of the reasons, or one among the several reasons, is that each time we're going to the Holy Land, mainly we pray for the peace of Nigeria. The Nigerian government cannot just spend a huge amount of money just for tourism and just for people to go and come back. One of the essence of it is we believe in divinity, we believe in spirituality, we believe in one God, we believe that God answers prayer. And so when we go there, the main essence is, well, let's pray for the peace of this country as much as we pray for the peace of individuals and families and whatever business it is. So if we could travel out far to pray for the peace of Nigeria as part of our holy pilgrimage, spiritual retreat, reviving our spiritual soul, and that exercise includes the prayers for the peace of this country, why can't we also make effort here at home to make sure that our people are living in peace? And secondly, every good peace-loving Nigerian, we can't sit down and be watching. There are times we sit down, we criticize, we watch. Somebody must come up and do something. And thirdly, Mr. President knows my background. When, before I was appointed to this position, I have been building peace cells in Jos, where we have similar crises of the Fulanis and Hadas and all the rest. And so in my appointment, he added that I should continue with the work of reconciliation. And again, we're doing it independent of whatever people may think, because sometimes people look so suspicious that it is government who is this. We make sure that we have good people to sponsor what we are doing, and they are out of whatever people will think it is influenced by anybody.
This is actually your first major outing
Yes.
as Executive Secretary of the NCPC.
Yes, on this.
And that actually may have raised some eyebrows as to why you chose to make this your very first assignment.
Yes, even though it's not my first assignment, I've gone out for other assignments in connection with my office. But in this peace, search for peace, this is my first launch out for peace. I did this because the story of Southern Kaduna is all over the world, and it's not good for the image of this country. And we are also dealing with the international world when it comes into the issue of pilgrimage going out of this country. And so our image needs to somehow be restored back. The dignity of the image of this country is very important to us, those of us who carry people out. And if we're going to do this assignment successful and for the international community to respect us, we must also do our best in terms of restoring the dignity and the image of our country, so that we will be proud where we are found, we will be happy, and we will present the black race with dignity and a kind of respect.
Mm. Now, a few weeks ago, precisely on August 28th, I hosted representatives of the Atiap chiefdom here in this same studio. And the whole issue was about peace building, forgiveness, and reconciliation in Southern Kaduna. Now, Atiap is just one of the many communities in Southern Kaduna. This your initiative appears to be a larger one that should encompass the entire Southern Kaduna. How much or how many of the communities in Southern Kaduna have been carried along in this effort?
In fact, almost, let me say, all the local government in Southern Kaduna and even beyond the Southern Kaduna, because we involve the hotspot zones that are involving crisis. And they are not just the Southern Kaduna based on whatever it is, but they also have beyond that, and all of them came in. And we have reasonable representative from all of them, and it was a wonderful time that we had with them, because we have what we call the association of the development association of the ethnic groups, which you will understand that Southern Kaduna have a lot of ethnic tribes. So all the presidents of those tribes were there. These are the people who speak on behalf of their tribes. These are the people who knows the pains of their people. They've been passing through a lot of this. Most people who speak about their flight may have not been direct link with the people, but these people are the ones who passed through it. And so all of those ethnic presidents and their national, their one president who coordinate them for the Southern Kaduna was also there, who give us the blessing to move ahead. And so the joyful part of this is that we were not looking for representatives from different pressure groups. We were looking for the locals, who these things is directly affected, so that we'll be able to form a peace cell group among them in the localities, so that they can open the pipe and the channels of communication between them and the other opposite sides. So they can have the Ardos, the Fulanis, and they know themselves. In fact, some of them, when they came to the place, they said, for more than a year we have not met. For some will say for 9 years we have not seen, since the other crisis, and they embrace themselves. And what a joyful thing to have those people seated together and discuss. For 3 days, we were all there. They arrived on Monday, and the session started Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
So it was actually a 3-day summit.
It's a 3-day summit, yeah.
Right. Reverend, you are aware, and from what we saw in that report, that the pains and the wounds from the crisis run very deep amongst the various groups and persons or people in that area.
Yeah.
Now, there have been different efforts made. Different groups have tried this same thing, this initiative that you have now brought forward, what is the guarantee that this will succeed where others may not have made the desired impact?
Okay, we have what we call top-bottom approach. One, the top is to make sure that the governor make a commitment, which is the top, and which he did. And sometimes we have challenges with the top in the sense of implementations. When people reach certain agreement, implementation will not be there. So that commitment was there when he said it, and we make sure it was carried viral on media, social media. And the last day, he still sent his word and said he is willing. In fact, he was to come, but we said no. Allow the people to talk. We don't want your presence here. Let the people talk. When the people talk and agree, when you come here, some other part may be feeling intimidated. So allow it. This is for the people. So the top is very, very important. And then going from the top, we have the middle top, which is the elders. People like Zamani, General Zamani Lokot, people like General Agwe, and you go to the clergies from both sides. Those are the middle top. And you also go to buy their commitment. And we saw that commitment in all of them. Of course, one or two groups who may have felt that the timing was not right for them because they needed to have more consultations. But we said, look, their letter came a day before the meeting. We've already arrived. Some people have already arrived at the venue. So we can't cancel the meeting to wait for consultations. Since peace is process ongoing, we can go on and you can join at any point. So that is the second aspect of it. The third aspect is now going to the grassroots, which you saw us with all the traditional rulers. There's no any kingdom that we didn't visit. And all of them endorsed and said, yes, this is this. And all of those traditional rulers sent their people, their youth, their women, and whatever. In fact, we were expecting to have a 120 participants, but we ended up having 200 because when the paramount rulers send people, you can't send them away. You have to accommodate them. And from the general, they sent us 10 retired generals from southern Kaduna. And that was enough to carry their authority.
From both divides?
Yes, from both divides, because the co-chair of the chairman is an army general too, a Muslim. So these were all the things that were put on ground. And then the Ardos were all there, the presidents of the Ardo, and the representation of the traditional rulers were also there, and the emir of what do you call him, was also there. So well represented. So all of this. And then lastly on that ground is that we don't just have a 3 days meeting and go. We now, with this, all the 200 people become members of that platform. And we now form leadership for them. They all agreed that let this continue. And they form leadership, 5 from the Christian faith, 5 from the Muslim faith. So they have co-chair, co-secretaries, co-women leaders, co-youth leaders, co-advisors. They will now be calling for meeting any moment they want to call for meeting, and they will be addressing. And members of that meeting too will include the STF commander who is there. Now they will sit with him and they will ask him questions. They will say there's trouble here. The police commissioner will be part of that meeting, and all the security agencies, DSS and all of that. So any day they want to have a meeting, it may be a day meeting to address some hotspots. Those guys will be there to give them, because these people are on the ground. They are the grassroots. So it is not a one-day meeting we held, and then we just sign peace agreement and go. As a matter of fact, we are still writing the issues, because there were over 100 issues that were raised in the meeting. And then we're writing them. They need to agree on them. In fact, there were almost 100 plus, or 50 or 150 or 70. But disagreement was on so many of them. So they have to reduce it to 100. Now they're still working on them, so that we write them, we take them to the governor, and we look at the one that he, as a governor, need to implement. And then we'll look at the ones that the traditional rulers need to implement. We also look at the one that so many citizens of Southern Kaduna needs to be implemented, to be careful about and to implement. The one, the Ardos, the one, the Fulanis, the one, the indigenes, all of them, we're putting that into action. And then there's going to be a committee that will supervise the implementation. That was left in the hands of those committee now. We inaugurated them yesterday. We inaugurated the committee so that that platform is a platform that belongs to them. And they have accepted. In fact, they've moved for that the platform now should be handed over to them. So our hands are off. We can only stay behind and supervise what is going on. So it's going to be a platform that will run up to keep addressing issues, keep supervising, keep going up and down and see which area we have not. And there's involvement of all the sons and daughters of.
It's a good thing that you have spoken about the issues that are at play here.
Yeah.
Because the narrative out there is that it's essentially an indigene settler dichotomy, which of course has now broken out into religious differences, economic interest, and all of that. Would you mind tell us more about what you found out during this meeting are the main issues here?
Well, we may not say all of them for the sake that we've not gone to submit the report. But the one you mentioned, yes, is part of it. It was raised in the communique that these are the issues that are the bona fides triggers of this crisis. It's one of them, not the major issue, but it's one of them, and the issues of these people who are purely farmers. They eat from their farm crops. They have no any other profession more than that. And then the cows get into the farmland and eat their crops. It's a major trigger, very big trigger. And also you have the Fulani man who has no any other business more than rearing his cow. That he no any other world than that. And then you have somebody coming to take away the cows by rustling them to this and that. So these are triggers of these issues. And so you have also politics going into it, that some other people want this to continue, to make sure they prove a point. Proving a point on probably leadership, that the leadership is not capable. That is part of the issues. You also have the issues from the executive, failure of leadership in their part in some other areas, which I may not say it here. These are all the issues that are involved. But like I said, there are no issues will come out to start talking them now, because we are yet to meet His Excellency and give him, and also the presidency need to have what we have done written, and so that they will supervise the implementation of whatever we have done there. So these are all issues.
All right, Reverend Yakubu Pam is the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Christian Pilgrims Commission. He's our guest on the program today. Stay with us. We'll be back after this short break.
Are critical, germane to Nigeria's democratic process.
Politicians can only be seen maybe on television by judges. They should not intermingle, because once you intermingle, then you destroy the systems.
When the personalities are big, important to national discourse.
When you reach certain stage in power and you demonstrate arrogance to the extreme, there's no other thing that will happen to you other than to fall.
When the developments are seemingly complex, confounding like a 1,000-piece jigsaw, that's when we require bold, sound, and analytical minds to help put the pieces together. Jigsaw with Benga Arileba, now showing Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1 p.m. on AIT. Jigsaw, demystifying the issues.
Thank you so much for staying with us. People, Politics and Power. My guest is Reverend Yakubu Pam. He's the Executive Secretary of the NCPC, Nigerian Christian Pilgrims Commission, the body that has initiated a fresh peace effort in southern Kaduna, a part of Nigeria which has seen so much of violence and killings. Well, Reverend, is there a linkage of any sort, say, with other peace efforts that had previously been made to ensure that this effort becomes a lasting one? I ask that question against the backdrop of the fact that even the Atiab peace deal that was made on the 22nd of August was opposed by the Southern Kaduna People's Union, SOCAPO. Just as it is now, or it appears now that it is not in tandem with what you are currently doing.
Yeah, well, with our own, I don't think the SOCAPO against it. What they said was, if I can read their communication to us, was that they wish the date should be rescheduled. But if we cannot, they are in agreement with what we're doing. If we are done, we should also extend whatever discussed to them.
They addressed a press conference in Kaduna yesterday in which they clearly stated that they think that the meeting that just ended was actually the initiative of the Kaduna state government, and that it was just a face-saving device by the by the state governor in order to save his face from all the failings of his government.
Well, that's a press conference. I'm only saying what I was communicated officially. Okay, of course they could say that. You know, it is not easy that SOCAPO have seen a lot of killings of their people and their members. And it is not easy. It's like a broken marriage. Whatever you're doing, it takes time to get it healed. And so they are taking time. But I tell you what, a lot of their people were there. SOCAPO cannot do without the class of the retired generals. They cannot do without them. Who are you leading? They cannot do without the traditional rulers. Who are you really ruling? They are leaders of those people. And if those people authoritatively give their blessing and give their people the permission to be in a meeting, I don't think SOCAPO will say no. If they will say no and they have the authority of those people, that place will have been empty. Nobody will come. However, I am happy with what they did. That is to tell you the freedom of every human being and the freedom of every association. And again, it's also guiding to say, don't take us for right. At the end of all, when they see this, I believe they will fall in. They will fall in. They have no option than to fall in. The structure is there for them. It's not going to be, let's even say that, yes, the governor is behind it. Why can't you go there and prove he's behind it? So that you prove. We announced publicly there. Ted Fund funded this. It's our own brother. He's from the Middle Belt. He knows the pains we've been passing through. NCPC also give almost 30% of the funding. We were not in any way collect funding from Kaduna government. And like I told you, we even asked the governor not to come so that the people themselves would discuss their issues. So I don't see anywhere somebody will. And you could see that Ted Fund was there. He was the guest speaker and he spoke. SOCAPO knows him. Khan knows him. So what I'm trying to say is that they are right to stay and watch first. It may be too early for them to go and say it's government.
Now, coming from the Pilgrims Commission, Christian Pilgrims Commission, one would have expected that Khan would jump at it.
Yeah, it's just like I still tell you, they are right for doing what they are doing. They need to observe to know. We also need to prove our integrity. Beyond whatever, we also have the church leaders who were there, who after going through all, they say, no, we have seen this is purely an initiative that we need to back. We have presidents of different churches that were there. Even a man who hosted us stayed there 3 days. That is Apostle Nuhu Kure, who is there. He has a very big investment. And the words he spoke there, he said, look at what I have here. He has, what he put on ground there is for billions. He said, if crisis come today and burn this place, I'm finished. So if there's a way we look for peace, we must. If even somebody brought peace, progress for us, we have to. And so, yes, CAN office may not be there, but so many members of CAN, because all the Christians that were there are members of CAN. All the traditional rulers, the natives that were there, are members of CAN. But CAN as an authority may not be there. And CAN can only speak, but they cannot speak for these people. CAN can only feel the pains from her office, but cannot feel the pains of the locals who are living there. They are feeling it. Let me also say again, yes, CAN is right for what they are doing, because if I were them, I probably may behave the same. To watch and see first before I fall in.
And not keen to the initiative from the word go, because you are also chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria, of the 19 northern states and the FCT, and that you are leading this process, ought to have given them some measure of confidence to say, look, this is our chairman that is of the northern, of all 19 northern states, that's leading this initiative. Why shouldn't we buy in from the word go?
They may not,
they
may not look at it that way. When you go to war zone, you will be careful to respect people's feeling. And you will be careful not to lord over them by your authority. In terms of authority, yes, I could have the authority over them. In terms of the pains they are passing through, no, I can't have authority over those kind of feelings, because I have passed through them before. I was a CAN chairman of Plateau State. So many things happened when I was on seat, and I have turned off so many peace processes in the state during that time. Why? Because of the pains I was passing through. But later on, I realized we need this peace. Professor Bogoro said there, he said, initially he turned off even invitation to see Governor Muazu, those days when he was the governor of Bauchi, State, because of the pains of his people. But later on he said, come on, can I keep this kind of feelings and my people are dying? He went and see the governor, and from when he saw the governor, things begin to go down. There was understanding. So I keep saying that CAN is right in what they are doing. I just pray it did not continue. I pray they will come back and say, okay, we have done this, let's assess and see if this process is good, they will be part. But again, there were church leaders there who are also part of CAN. So CAN is just an office. If their members were there and endorsed it, I don't think it's an issue. We keep on with the process. JNI were there, which they did a lot. The Fulanis, Ardos, and different groups were all there. So whatever we're doing, we're not doing it for any individual. We're doing it so that our people, of course, these killings should stop. These killings should stop. And as a religious leader, as somebody who knows that my work biblically is to reconcile people, I can't watch and see blood every day.
Hardly a month passes by
yes,
now.
I can't watch
without any form of crisis or the other.
Yes.
Even kidnapping and abduction
Yes.
for ransom.
I can't
And
watch.
in most cases, perhaps maybe that's why.
Those were the issues discussed.
Yes.
So much there. So, but as an individual, I can't watch. Let me start something. I could start it mistaken. I could make a lot of mistakes from the beginning. But I have you like a senior brother. I have you like a senior sister. You can correct the process so that we go on. But if we all tie our hands and keep talking and keep promoting it and keep amplifying it without a solution, then we're going nowhere. We just have to start something. And that is what it means that we have feelings as human beings to see these things happening. It's not good. I can't wait until my own son is killed. I can't wait until my wife is killed. Boko Haram started like this. Some other people were crying. Some were laughing. Some were saying it's dealing with some people. But today, is it some people again? It's dealing with every Nigerian. And it's even dealing with the sovereignty of this country. So the more we watch, the more we're losing ground every day. And the more we watch, the more our children are engaged in such things. They will be recruited without you knowing. And under the disguise that they are protecting themselves, it will turn into kidnapping. At the time that the war will cease, they will look for another venture. Either kidnapping, either whatever, the armed robber, they will use the same skill to do it. So why can't we think of building a better society around us?
Which is why a lot of people are concerned whether or not women, who are very critical to this peace building process, and the young people, who are usually the ones employed to carry out the violence, are carried along in this process.
Why not? If you go through, I don't know whether they have sent our press release to you, you will see that it's one of the issues. The women complained there that they have not been carrying them on so many processes, but they were happy that we carried them in this one, because we spell out to every community that women should be part of the delegation, and which, thank God, we thank the paramount rulers of Southern Kaduna. Most of them send women as delegations into the peace meeting, you know. And most of the people, like the organizations you have mentioned, most of them were not more of our concern. Our concern was the locals, because those organizations were just to show their face. In fact, we wouldn't want any of those organizations to take over the deliberations, but we want the locals to take over as their project. For instance, Sokapo, yes, it's just to come up there, show face, and give whatever views they have, but not to take over the process, or can take over the process. No, it's for the locals to discuss. And that's our joy. Or Meeti Allah take over the process. No, you don't take over the process. The process should be the process of the people doing it themselves. So the women were there leading in so many of the sessions, and also have a session themselves alone, which they discuss as women, how they can be able. In fact, they proffer solutions to this crisis, and their solutions, which they proffer, was very fantastic. And they even said they can do projects together, both Christian and Muslims, women coming together and do projects together. And they agreed. They start working on how can they do some certain projects together.
So in other words, that completely demystifies the notion that is out there, the narrative that is out there, that the summit brought together only the elite, only the intellectuals, the politicians, and that the victims and the perceived perpetrators of the violence were not part of this summit.
The first day, the victims testify. From the IDP camps they came. And it's one of the moving session when a woman came up, a Fulani woman to be specific, and said, my husband, my children were all killed. I am in the IDPs. But from the depth of my heart, with tears, she said, I have forgiven. It was moving. It is based on some of these stories that a lot begin to go down. So we cannot do this kind of thing without representative from the victims. They were all there. We cannot also do without the locals. It is the locals who came more. We have over 20 pastors there from the locals. And we have over 7 to 10 church leaders there. They are also sons of the soil. So, like we did in Jos, the Jos on, we didn't even go and say, Khan, come, JNI, come. No. What we did was, we'll go into the real locals, because this fight is between the locals and the Fulanis. And we came in, and if you see what we did in Jos was that we used Hausa language. And that's exactly what we also use here, because most of the locals don't know English. So if we speak in English, we interpret. That's to tell you how local the people are that we brought in. Yes, we bring this representative of the retired generals, because it is very important for them, because Southern Kaduna is a home of most of the retired generals. They need to know what is happening in their house. They need to look at the process and own the process. And they were very, very happy. From both sides, they were very, very happy. You cannot also say you eliminate the elites all. No, they have to. My first call yesterday was to say the elites should close the gap. Because if you see the fight in Nigeria that is dividing this country gradually, is the fight of the elites. The followers of this elite is fighting with the other followers of this elite. And sometimes if this elite is in this group, the other elite tell you, I cannot be in that group. In America and elsewhere, overseas, they don't fight based on faces of people. They fight based on opinion and ideas. If your opinion is good, no matter how I hate you, I agree with you. It shouldn't be that your opinion is good, but because of your face, I said no. That doesn't do well.
Or because of your faith or your religion.
Or because of your faith
or your tribe.
Religion or tribe. So if really you speak something that I know this is the right thing, oh, why not? We go ahead with it. I may disagree with you on my personal fight with you, but when it comes to national issues, I should look at it objectively, not for myself, but for the interest of the country. And I should be able to embark that.
Now moving forward, Reverend, is there any plan as part of the peace process, for instance, to help those who are in IDP camps now to return to their homes, to return to their communities, and rebuild their lives?
It's part of the issues.
Just like the woman who
it's part of the issues we're raising. It's part of the issues we will be meeting the governor to tell him. It's part of the issues we raise with Mr. President. And is part of the issues that the committee on ground we will have to source from different ends. The USA agency, the Institute of Peace were there. They have also picked those areas, because we will also give them some areas of interest that they can be able to promote, to be able to raise funds for them if it is possible. So all of this is going to be part of the issues that we are going to deliberate and submit to the different authorities that can be able to have, because these people really need help. These people need to go back to their various homes. So that's what it is.
Thank you so much, Reverend. I'm sure that we have dealt adequately with this issue of Southern Kaduna, but I cannot let you go without at least asking one question about the work of the commission at the
Which is
moment.
my own distance.
Exactly.
You've carried me all on the...
Of course, coronavirus seems to have disrupted normal flow of life. I'm sure that, but for coronavirus, you would have had at least 2 pilgrimages already this year.
Yeah.
I'm probably preparing for the 3rd one, all of that. But you're also aware that one of the major problems with pilgrimages in Nigeria is the issue of persons or pilgrims in quote now, who go to the Holy Land and abscond.
Yeah.
And I hear that the commission is planning that for every pilgrim that will be going out, moving forward, must have a surety. And that surety must guarantee that whoever he or she is standing for will not abscond in the Holy Land.
Of course. That's what we're actually building into our act, to be constitutionally abiding, that all pilgrims, anyone going, should have somebody who will surety as a guarantor for him or her. Of course, actually they're doing it now, but I doubt if that area has been exploited so much, because people just sign papers without knowing. You know, guarantor is like going to the police station with your loved one who has been arrested and said, okay, I guarantee him on bail. I know what that is. If that person is not brought back, definitely you are in for it. And that's what is supposed to be with the pilgrim, because we need to deal with this issue of abscondment. Our image abroad has not actually been good. And I travel to Israel. I attend some of our African churches there. You need to go and see how Nigerians are suffering there. So many of them are suffering. Once they started this cleansings of their place for illegal pilgrims, they run shelter and shelter, and some of them sleep under whatever gutter. And it's not good. Look at us here at home. No matter how I will be suffering at home, I am at my house.
Exactly.
So I shouldn't go and punish myself outside under the disguise that I am abroad. What abroad? Nigeria is also abroad.
At least abroad to some people.
Yes,
yes.
Not even some people, to the
some
whole world.
nationals.
Yes,
Yes.
to the whole world is abroad. I am abroad now.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Reverend Yakubu Palm is the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Christian Pilgrims Commission. He is also the chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, of the 19 northern states and the Federal Capital Territory. Thank you so much, Reverend, for joining us and for all your efforts in trying to restore peace to Southern Kaduna. We want to encourage you to continue in this effort and look forward to coming here to come and give a testimony of how successful it has been.
Amen. Thank you very much.
All right, my name is Imoni Amarere. Do have yourself a wonderful time this weekend. We'll see you again on Monday.